Hello everyone, Android user here, not bringing you an app review this time, but a different kind of video. To start things off, I'd like to thank the few of you that has subscribed to my channel. Thank you for that. And I've been getting some questions about what kind of phone my phone is, and it is the Motorola XT701. This is a Asian version of the XT720, and its unique feature is that it has a Xenon flash, and it is sort of like a mutated brother of the Motorola Droid. The problem with this phone is that it never even got the 2.2 update, so it is stuck on 2.1 unless if you modify it. What my phone is running right now is a CyanogenMod 6. I'm running this is because CyanogenMod 6 is the most optimum version for older phones like this one, and is quite smooth, whereas the CyanogenMod 7, it has a lot of animation problems because it is really built for a tougher phone, and my phone is quite behind already. I bought this phone a year ago and it only has I think 256 RAM, and yeah, not a lot of stuff in there if you look up the specs. But anyways, I just use Open Recovery to flash the CM7 stable version into my phone, as I'll show you here. That here I'm running 2.21 and CyanogenMod 6.1, and the build, which is basically the type of ROM it is the Speed Beta 7 version 4. I just flashed this version a few days ago, but so far it's been working very nicely. What I'm going to do in this video is, instead of normally just reviewing apps, I'm going to talk more about what I actually do to my phone, because a lot of people have been asking me what kind of version it is, because they can tell that my phone is a bit different from others. And the reason is because I modded it so then it's not as clunky, and is optimized for the most simple and logical approach for opening your applications. Therefore, this video is just going to be a couple of tweaks and things that I do to optimize my phone, such as what apps I use and what kind of settings I use. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, for my phone to run as fast as possible, since this is already a very old phone and I'm still reluctant to use a new one, is that I turn off a lot of things. The first thing I turn off is touch tone, and what the touch tone does is that I try not to play tones during the dial pad. Instead, I just use the haptic feedback, because the haptic feedback will be able to tell me that I'm already touching the key. As well, I also turn off all of the animations, and I don't allow the screen to rotate because that causes lag as well. The animation is just for show, and all it does is slow down your phone really. And I also set the screen timeout to oh well, here it doesn't have anything, but normally I set it to as least as possible, unless if I'm playing a game or something. The next thing I do is that I turn off syncing for my accounts, and how you do that is that you go to your contacts, and then when you reach your contacts, you try to go to accounts and you don't allow background data to sync or send or receive data. That way it will save battery, and it will also cause a lot less clutter. The next thing I would do is that I would turn on more power saving options, such as I keep the screen at either auto or as dim as possible when I'm not using it. What it does here is that since it is already dark, then it senses with the sensors up here that it is dark, and it would not be as bright. And as for the desktop, as you can see, I have nothing here on my desktop. I don't use any widgets or shortcuts, because all it does is slow down your phone, and it causes the phone to drain battery as well. By deleting the widgets, it really makes it a lot faster, because when you go back to the home screen, you don't have to load any widgets. such as a lot of people have a clock widget or anything, which I find quite redundant. Maybe it's just me, but when you turn on the clock and it's your lock screen, you already know what time it is, or you can just check here quickly. So I think it is redundant for me to have a clock widget or anything like that. I also have no icons in here since I can just open up all my icons in my app drawer like that. But I also don't see why some people have it. And because I have no icons, I use no animation for my my screens either. So then it reduces the amount of lag, making it have virtually no lag at all. Last thing I want to talk about before I get into the applications that you can use is that I have no live wallpaper. I used to try to push that onto my phone, but I could tell that my phone was already being more sluggish when I was using a Droid Eye wallpaper, which was live, or any other kind of live wallpaper. The next thing I'm going to do is talk about the applications that you can use to speed up your phone and to increase the life of the phone itself. To start things off, I'm going to talk about my launcher application, which is not the default phone launcher. What I find about the default phone launcher is that often they're very sluggish, especially if you're using Motorola. It has the motor blur, which is quite dreadful, whereas maybe the TouchWiz or the Sense one from HTC and Samsung may be better, but I still prefer either stock or ADW. And ADW is basically an expansion of the stock, and by using this I can turn off a lot of animations which in your original launcher application it will still be on because you can't control it. I turn off the snap scroll or any of the things that cause the drawer to be slower. As you can see, I have no lag when I use it at all, so I don't have to worry about that. That is one of the benefits of using ADW or any kind of launcher application instead of your stock launcher app, because you can turn off a lot of useless things, such as the dots that appear as well, and animations. I have no animations, and as well as gestures for the phone. Another thing that the ADW is good for is that I can set some of the buttons for it to work faster, such as the home button down there. I can launch up the phone application right away, which is the most important application of all. Instead of having an icon somewhere, I can just use the home button, which is located down here. I just press it, and that also helps it run faster. The next thing is a task killer, and what I want to say about a task killer is don't use it. And I'm serious when I say that, because I used to use a task killer until I realized that all the task killer does is cause a lot of your system apps to reboot and recycle, which actually uses more CPU memory and CPU performance, and it also drains battery as well. Unless if you're using very large applications, a task killer is useless because all it does is that it kills your battery. Instead, what I have is, first thing off, I have a shortcut for the running applications, which is down here. And what this shows is things are running and I can kill it if I want. I can stop the service. And these services are the things that you don't need, such as this music player, which I'm not using right now. I can stop it. Or maybe I don't want my battery indicator to be running, and I can stop it as well. Another really great application that I would recommend, since we're on the topic of services, is the AutoKiller memory. And what this does is that instead of using a task killer, it limits your memory to a certain amount. Therefore, when it reaches the threshold of the memory, this process will automatically kill any services or processes that are running. That's why this application is so much better than the task killer, because it kills it in moderation only when you're losing free memory. As you can see right now, my free memory is 68, which is pretty good for my phone already. And what you do is you can hit the menu button and there are presets, and of course I don't have any of these presets here, but normally I use Optimum to